Hey guys, it's Kate, and today I want to talk about copyright. So, copyright for artists is one of the most important things to actually think about. And none of us usually are lawyers, so it kind of gets into this gray zone where we don't know what is right or wrong. And I just wanted to make it simple and kind of clarify this topic for other artists out there that are actually trying to understand it. I'm not a lawyer myself, so don't take it as a serious legal advice. If you are still in doubt, then do read about copyrights, and also you can always have a consultation with a lawyer who's going to help you understand it. First things first, let's talk about what copyright is and why is it important for us. So copyright is a law that actually allows you to use or sell work that you created. So when you are an artist, you create paintings which you then can sell and gain profit from it, right? And you can also show work online and say that it's yours. Why does it matter about copyright so much? So usually we use reference photos to actually produce work, and these reference photos have a copyright also. Depending on the type of copyright, so there are royalty-free, for example, photos that you can find online and you can use them in your artwork and you get a full copyright of the painting that you produce. If you're using a photo that has a copyright, for example, of the photographer, and you do not ask permission to use that photo, you produce an artwork, you can get in legal trouble. So don't get scared at this point, because copyright is there to actually protect your interests as well. So imagine if you create an artwork and someone else goes and takes that artwork and actually sells prints off of it or uses it on merchandise like on t-shirts or shoes or whatever. And this law, it actually helps you get interest from your creation instead of someone else just ripping you off and using your creation and gaining money for it. So everything that you produce, all the original work that you produce, you get to keep the copyright. There are illustrators that do illustrations, and depending on the contract that they have, they might sell the copyright to the client. So if they're creating an illustration for, I don't know, shoe box or a picture book, depending on the contract, the buyer might ask the illustrator to actually sell his copyright. About the copyright stays with you for all of your life, and then it lasts for 70 more years. But it doesn't mean that you can actually copy and reproduce old masters' work. For example, there are cases that the copyright can be extended, and that means that you can still not reproduce the work of other people, of other artists that has been done even centuries ago. So every time if you are thinking that you want to copy something, just make sure that that image, that painting doesn't have a copyright that's still in place. It's always good to make sure that the photos also that you're using don't have any copyright problems. So to do that, you can take a photo if you do not know where it comes from, or if you're not very sure, and Google search it. Also, you can use Google search for your own work and see if someone else is selling stuff or actually showing your stuff as their own. So you can also catch people like that. I had cases where people were contacting me. So basically, it's a funny story, but yeah, my pseudonym, like my artist's name is Kate Amedeo, but my name is very long, and it's a Russian name, and it's Yekaterina Kotelnikova, so yeah. And I use my husband's surname. I hopefully, like, I'm gonna change it sooner or later, and the English version of Yekaterina is basically Kate. That's what they called me in school in English lessons. So when I used my own name on Facebook, and I had people actually contacting me and saying, because I was sharing the photos of my artwork, and there were people contacting me and saying, you know what, they're like, how can you do this? Why are you showing someone else's work as your own? And I was like, what's happening? And then it turned out basically people thought that Kate Amedeo was someone else. And then I just changed my Facebook name as well. So yeah, it's actually nice because there are people that are following you and that try to protect your interests. So internet comes with two sides. One bad side, that people can actually try and steal your stuff, and with the other one, that there are people that actually look out for you. But yeah, that's a sidetrack from the main topic. So copyright. What it means is that if the painting or the drawing, the artwork that you produce, can be traced back to the original image, even if you change some part of it. If it can be traced back, you are still infringing copyright if you do not have a permission to use that reference photo. I have seen artists that are really, really good, but they are using photos just from Google search. Please, please avoid using Google search. If you do, then it's very important that you contact the photographer and actually ask for permission. Most of the cases, if you ask them, they will agree. Especially, just to sweeten up the deal a bit, I offer free prints to send to the photographer, because photography is an art form on its own, and you really need to value other people's work if you want your work to be valued. So that's just being nice. And also, if you credit the photographer when you are posting your artwork, it's also a nice thing to do. Then, of course, there are websites where you can download royalty-free reference photos like Pixabay or Pexels. I have a whole video about where you can take photos for your reference and actually own the right to your painting then, and not infringe any copyright laws by using the reference photos. And usually you can buy photos that are not very expensive as well. So check out the other video if you would like to find out more about where to actually take photos for artists. Another thing is books and movies, for example. If you are using images from a book, they still have the copyright that goes to the photographer. So if you look just after the cover of the book, you can see that the photographer is usually credited if there are any images, or the illustrator. So they retain the copyright. So it's not okay to copy from books. The same goes for documentaries. If you're doing wildlife, if you're copying an image, if you, I don't know, paused or took a screenshot from the documentary, it's still not okay to use that as your reference, because it still can be traced back to that documentary, and it's still someone's work, and still someone gets the copyright for it. You can't legally use this photo. The same goes for fan art and different character paintings and drawings and illustrations. So I know that Disney is quite bad at going after people who are actually using their characters and their environments or cartoons, like everything that has to do with them. They always own the copyright to everything that they produce. And if you reproduce, for example, I don't know, Mickey Mouse or Moana or whatever, it's kind of okay unless you start selling it. They might not go after you as long as you are not gaining profit from it. As soon as you start selling it, you can get in really big trouble. You can contact them and ask them if you would like to, if they would like you to use their characters as a reference, but it's gonna cost you like a lot. So I don't know if it's even worth it. But most importantly is that you remember that every movie company, everything that produces animation, movies and so on, they produce these characters and it's their copyright and you cannot use it. Once again, do not sell stuff with these fan art things like portraits of different characters from movies and so on. You can try and sell your stuff on Etsy. I know that it's really bad about copyright and you can find a lot of stuff that's been just copied from Disney animation and from movies and so on. But again, do it at your own risk. It's something that I would never do, first of all. Second of all is eBay. I know that a lot of artists, I myself sell stuff on eBay, my paintings, and eBay, they really search for copyright infringements. So if you're planning to sell your fan art, then just know that, first of all, there are legal consequences. Second of all, not everywhere you will be able to sell it. So on Etsy, you might get away, but yeah, just take my advice. It's better not to. You can create, for example, tutorials or just create this fan art for yourself, but yeah, don't go there. It's just, it can end up in a lot of trouble. The same goes with sharing your work and not asking permission of, for example, the person that is actually in that piece of art. So if you're doing portraits and there is a person represented in the portrait, you have to ask for permission of that person. Even if you took a photo of them, even if the photo is yours, you still should ask the permission to show the work and to, I don't know, sell prints if you do sell prints. But most importantly, even if you just put it out in the web, it's something, I don't know, it's kind of rules of society, I guess, just to be considerate about everyone and to actually ask them for permission before you actually post your work. Because even though the photo that you have taken is yours, they still retain the copyright for themselves. So they are the person. So every time if you want to post your work online, just ask the person, is it okay if I post it? And I do it all the time, and I ask my clients, when I'm doing commission work, I ask my clients if it's okay to post my work on my page and in social media. Another thing to talk about is tutorials. So there are a lot of tutorials online on YouTube, and then there are people, amazing artists that post their stuff on Patreon, for example, and also there are different art schools that are online. You can find different courses online, and they do tutorials. So is it okay to sell your artwork that you produce created from these tutorials? In a way, a yes and a no. So basically, when I create tutorials, I would love you guys to use my tutorials and to create your artwork, but you can create the same artwork that I do, but you can use the same techniques, the same approach to create your own thing. So if I show you how to create seascapes, how to paint waves, you can choose another photo that you like and create your own. But it's totally okay to create from the same painting that I did. So why is it a yes? A yes is because if I'm using a reference photo that is available to you, for example, I took a reference photo from Pixabay, you can follow my tutorial and create a painting based on my reference photo and sell it. So you still get to use the reference photo that I used, and you are creating your painting, even if you are following my tutorial. So it's totally okay to sell it. But if you are creating an artwork from a reference photo that is mine, let's say I took a photo of Coco. She's lying here. I took a photo of Coco and I created this painting and did a tutorial on it. You are reproducing the same tutorial, creating the same exact painting, even if you change the background, but it's still traceable back to the same photo. And you do not have the right, you haven't asked me if I grant you permission to actually use this photo as a reference. So then it's a no, you can't sell your work. So I could legally go after you. But yeah, so I wouldn't. but but yes, so this is the most important thing to understand about tutorials. Most importantly, tutorials are there to actually help you learn, and just take them and use them in your own paintings. So that's my advice to you. And I guess this is basically it about copyright. If I will have anything to add, I will create more videos about it. But if you have any questions, I will be also happy to answer. Again, I'm repeating, I'm not a lawyer, but as much as I know, I will share with you. So I hope that this was insightful, and if you like to see other video vlogs about art and artsy stuff, do follow me here on YouTube and subscribe to my channel. And I would really appreciate it if you could like the video underneath here, the like button there. So yeah, this is it for today, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in another video.